All right, so I hope everyone had a great night last night. We had and a great first day. We're going to have what I think is going to be a really exciting second day, and we're going to try to just keep building every single day. Some pretty heavy stuff today, or heady, I should say, with a D. Very much a brain-focused morning for you. So we're going to be talking about neuroscience. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. We'll be talking about the technical, ethical, and business implications of it, and you'll get to hear from Neil Jacobstein. And then we're going to have the great treat of getting to have Ray Kurzweil join us on stage here for about 30 minutes of talking, and then I'm going to get to sit down with him and have a nice Q&A with him, which I always look forward to and is always incredibly insightful for me, and I hope for you as well. So with that, it's my great pleasure to welcome the EVP of Uncommon Partners Labs. This is a group that we acquired earlier in the year, and doing some just really important and exciting things, and so excited to have them part of the SU family. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Kyle Nell. Kyle? Thanks, my
man.
friend.
Thanks, Will. Hello, you party people. What are you doing up this early? I saw a lot of you up way too late last night, so I don't know how lucid you are, so it's a perfect time to be on stage. So I'm Kyle. We were, like Will said, acquired by Uncommon Partners, by SU in March. And what we do is we build uncommon products and partnerships. So there's two things that SU does very, very well, and it was a natural marriage. We've spent a lot of time working with SU, both as a client when I worked at Lowe's, where we built all kinds of weird things like 3D printers, helped put a 3D printer in space, built autonomous robots, VR, AR, all kinds of things through our partnerships with SU. So we're super excited to be here. And but as we were building all these things and doing them inside of large organizations and continued to after I left, you know, it doesn't matter what exponential technology you're working with, there's one universal constant. And that universal constant is people having to make decisions. That is the universal thing. And if anything gets in the way of this exponential future, it's our inability to be able to measure what works or what doesn't, and then to be able to make judicious, fast, insightful insights into that very quickly. And so much of it is us either using new technology or even worse, making decisions. And so I have a behavioral science background. And when I was at Lowe's, I really started to use and experiment with a whole bunch of behavioral economics things, which I won't go into now. But the one thing that worked universally well, whether I was testing a product or running a board meeting or a management meeting, was your brain. So what we would do is we put EEG headsets and eye tracking goggles on people, and we could see what was going on behind the curtain. And what people were saying and what they were thinking didn't always match up. And not because they were lying, but because the systems are different. What we say and what we think are different. What I was trying to really understand is what drives behavior, not necessarily just what people say. So we developed a whole system around this, and that's what we call the neuroscience for leadership, and specifically applied neuroscience. So when we're measuring this with EEG, we're able to measure attention, memory activation, cognitive load, which is probably the most critical one. So when you think about thinking, you don't want to be overwhelmed, you don't want to be underwhelmed, you just want to be, that's right, whelmed. Perfect state of whelmment. You know, Stephen Kotler might call this the flow. I'll just call it whelmment. And anxiety and arousal. And if you can measure all those things in the cacophony that's us, then you can understand what's working or not working and then make modifications that are almost imperceptible to the person, but then ladder up to, oh, this makes sense. This is intuitive for me. And that new level of understanding allows you to do all kinds of amazing things. Okay. So this is really how it works. This is our new headset, and it's a dry headset for your neuroscientists out there. And what it allows you to do, as you can see here, it allows you to have this passive way of understanding what's working and not working in real time. And then we can lay that out, whatever the experience was, if you're unpackaging a box, if you're on a UX UI, or if you're in a board meeting, and to see where things are falling off the rails and also when things are good and engaged. So you can replicate the things that are good and minimize the things that are bad. And you can do it in a quantitative way, which then puts the conversation into a fact-based, quantitative conversation rather than my idea versus your idea, which that alone is a huge level up. So So let me give you a practical example. So has anyone heard of Funko before? All right. Or you may have some of these products. So Funko is a client of ours, and Molly Hartney is a true Uncommon partner. She's a good friend and an amazing leader. She's a CMO and SVP of digital there. And Funko is a fandom company. Now, there's not really a fandom category in business school, but she and her team, they've really championed this whole idea of fandom. It was really, really hard for retailers to understand what this meant, because there's not a shelf set for fandom typically, and also for Wall Street as well. And so she hired us to basically lay out inside of a shelf of a large retailer, which I can't name, to be able to understand what was working and not working in that shelf, so that then we could give those insights back to the retailer. And that was a really important tool for them. So really, but what it really was what does it really mean to shop fandom? How do you take these different products and these different things that seem not terribly tied together, and what does that really mean for fandom? And so what we did was we had people unbox their products and see the experience from getting a new thing, what the character was, what they cared about, the feeling of opening up the box, and we could measure exactly what was working and not working. Then we were also, this is not an actual shelf because I can't show the retailer, but we were also able to use eye tracking to see where they were looking, and then the course of the vision through the shop to see where they were looking before they actually picked up or didn't pick up something, and what was going on in their head. And all of those things together then created a massive amount of quantitative insight that allowed them to be able to go back to this retailer, which ultimately landed to they were able to acquire far more floor space in this big box retailer. Huge, huge thing. And then they were able to understand too, this retailer was able to get and see the quantitative impact of fandom, something that's very ethereal, but has a massive impact in behavior. And so many of the things that we do, the biggest impact to what we're trying to achieve, especially in our business, is ethereal. It's emotion, it's brand, it's whatever. Those things are hard to measure, but we can do that using applied neuroscience. Awesome. Well, let's see here. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right. Can we switch on over? Can we have our neuro volunteer come on out? All right. Let's give him a round of applause. Hi, how's it going, Peter?
It's all right.
Come on over here. So when you come to Singularity University, sometimes this happens. All right, so real quick, what I want to just say is explain, like, this is a real-time demo. Obviously, this is a massive amount of data in a short period of time.
Massive.
Massive, massive. And you can see here that he really does care about what he's talking about. I think we're a little bit too far away from the computer, but it's okay. What you could see is that in real time, you can see moment by moment distraction, anxiety, cognition, and we're back. Cognition and motivation. And because you're able to do that, you're able to do some pretty incredible things in real time and take the things that feel mystical and impossible to understand and then bring them back into life. And so, Peter, how does it feel?
I feel a little exposed here. I think people are looking inside my head, and it's odd.
Well, we are actually. David, can you bring out the extra little piece here? So we just so happen to have a Funko toy here. Latest off the grid here. This is a...
Oh, wow. Dwight Schrute. Whoa, from The Office.
From The Office. So this is big time.
Can I keep this?
Yes, you can. You can keep that.
I thought I'd ask now. Yeah.
So as you can see, what you can see in the moment, I think we're still a little bit too far away from the computer actually, but what you could be able to see if we were a little bit closer is the moment by moment, how he was feeling as he was opening it and closing it, and all the things that are attached there. But I have to say, can we switch back to the other? Peter, this is actually kind of a ruse. You know how I said at the beginning, we build uncommon products, which you saw with this uncommon learning. Uncommon insights, and the applied neuroscience, but we also build partnerships too. So Peter, who are you really?
When I'm not a guinea pig, I am the Dean of Innovation and Deputy Dean at INSEAD.
That's right. So once again, come
What am I doing here?
What are we doing here, Peter?
All right, so I'm really happy to be here at the Global Summit to announce an exciting new partnership between Singularity, sort of your beloved group, network, organization that really leads on creating the future with exponential technologies, and INSEAD, the business school for the world. As you know, we've got campuses in Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and really in each of those regions, the leader in sort of deep research into management and in compelling and impactful programs around strategy and leadership. And what we want to do together is really team up to tackle what we see as the biggest challenge facing leaders today, which is how do you build, on the one hand, the understanding, the openness to new technologies, and on the other hand, how do you go back and build responsible and effective strategic responses, right? So how do you actually go and create compelling value propositions that are going to work in the market and for society, and to build the organizations that can execute on them? And this is really what we want to work on. We'll be doing applied research together and immediately translating that into impactful and practical programs. Why we're working together? I really think it is an uncommon partnership. We both have excellent but very distinct faculties with different capabilities that we can blend together. And I think what really excites me is over the last few months as we worked on this, despite the distinct and differences, there's a set of commonalities that's really just propelling this forward. I think both of our communities believe in the power of global networks and distinct, diverse populations addressing problems. Both of our organizations are, of course, mission-focused. You guys set up from the beginning to tackle the world's biggest problems. INSEAD, if you don't know, we were basically set up with the belief that by doing business together, we could bring peace and prosperity first to Europe and now the world. We're deeply committed to making sure business is a force for good. And then I think finally, what most excited, we're both very entrepreneurial organizations. We believe in getting things done, trying, learning fast. And so already you can see we're announcing the first thing we're going to do together.
That's right. So awesome, Peter. Can we just give Peter a round of applause? That was awesome. Before I announce the big discrete thing, which you can see behind you, and talk a little bit more about it just for a second, I mean, really, it's the doers that make it, one way or the other, doing for good or doing for bad. And just the folks that are here together in this room, you're here because you care, not just about learning, but about doing. And